Good morning, artists. So today you're going to continue with monochromatic studies of the human face. So last week we did the whole face, and today I'm going to have you focus on one specific part of the face, which is the eye. So today you're going to be painting and you're going to be drawing. So you need a pencil and eraser. You need, for monochromatic paintings, black paint, white paint, and one color of your choice. I'm choosing blue today. I have my water cup here, and I have 3 brushes of different sizes. I have big, medium, and small, just so that I have some variety for when I do details or larger areas. And I have my paint palette here, and I'm going to start with a piece of paper, and I'm going to turn it sideways like this. Okay, I'm going to turn it horizontal. And what you're going to do first is you're going to draw the crescent shape of the eye. You see, it's kind of like a football. So I'm going to start here, okay, about halfway between, the top and the bottom of my paper. This is right here, halfway. And I'm going to curve like this. Oh, sorry, it's hard to see. Maybe I'll use marker. No, I want to use pencil. Okay, so I'm going to curve like this all the way to the other side of my paper. Okay, so again, it starts at halfway and it ends at halfway over here. See that little notch? Okay, so this is the top of the eye, and now I'm going to curve and do a crescent for the bottom of the eye. So I'm going to come from halfway and I'm going to curve. See the curve? Okay. And it may take a few times to do it with erasing and adjusting until you get it right. Or until you get it not right, but the way that you like it. Okay. So I'm kind of adjusting with my pencil until I get that crescent, that nice crescent shape. All right, now I have it. And now I'm going to put in the circle for my eye. And you'll notice that the circle, the iris of my eye touches the bottom of the crescent and the top of the crescent. So I'm going to go ahead and start here on the bottom, and I'm going to make a circle. Okay, in the middle. And you can see it's not quite getting to the top. And I need to work a bit to get it more circular. Okay, so there it is. There's the circle, and I'm looking at my work, and I'm seeing, okay, this side is kind of funny, so I need to erase and adjust. Drawing is all about looking and seeing and making adjustments as you go. I'm working on my crescent a bit, because that was a bit off. See, I just brought the crescent down some, made it a little bigger. And now I can really put in that circle for the eye. There it is. Okay. So the eye is taking up my entire paper because we're really focusing on that today. Then I'm going to put in the pupil, which is right here in the center of the circle. There's another circle inside of this one. See, inside. You want to make sure you put it right in the middle. Okay, and then there's, of course, the highlight in my pupil, the part that stays white. So I'm just going to put a little square here, so I mark that out, so I know that this part is staying white. Okay, and then we have some eyelashes on our eyes. Okay, and they kind of come not from the eyeball, but kind of more from the top of that crescent. Some eyelashes. All right, now I've got my shape down, and now I'm ready to paint. So I'm going to be mixing tints, tones, and shades today. And I'm going to start with, I think I'm going to start with the white. I'm going to start with the white part right here, the whites of my eyes. So I'm just going to take my brush, and I'm going to do pure white right in here. Okay. And you see I'm dipping my brush in the white, but I'm also making sure my brush is wet while I'm painting. Okay, put in the whites. I know it's hard to see because there it is. White part. Okay, so I put in the white. And now I'm going to mix a tint. So I'm going to mix blue with white, and I'm going to paint the background. Everything around my eye with a tint. And paint my tint. My tint is everything around the eye. Okay, so I've done the bottom. Okay, I'm just following my crescent shape. Okay, then I'm going to paint up here, the top. Painting back and forth in a nice horizontal motion. Get your brush wet from time to time so you're not painting dry. Okay. Like this, okay. All the way around. And you might cover up your eyelashes a little bit, but that's okay because we're going to put them back in with paint later. Get your brush wet. Okay. There we go. All right, so I've done my background. Now it's time to do this shape, the iris color. Okay, and when you do the iris, it is dark on the outside ring of the circle, and then it gets lighter as it gets close to your pupil. So I'm going to start by making a shade. I'm going to mix blue with my black, and I'm going to go around in there, and I'm sort of using my brush and making strokes moving towards the pupil. You can see I'm making short little strokes going towards the pupil. So I'm mixing more shade, and I'm going around the iris and making short strokes in towards the pupil. Okay, because our irises actually have like little sort of lines inside of them. You can see short strokes coming in towards the pupil. Like this. Okay, now I'm going to get lighter as I get closer to the pupil. So it goes shade, right? And then a tone is when you mix your color with gray. So a tone is slightly lighter than a shade. So I'm going to make a tone right now by mixing white and black and making a gray. And then I'm going to add blue to it, and I get a tone. And I'm going to add that tone in right where the shade is, like kind of, you can see it's a little bit on top of the shade. Sort of painting slightly on top of my shade a little bit. And that's because I want the two to blend. I want it to be seamless so that it doesn't look stripy. So see, I'm mixing some of my tone in with the shade a bit. Okay, notice the strokes my brush is creating. Okay, like lines. And I'm blending it into the shade with my brush. See that? Okay. And now I'm going to wash my brush really thoroughly, and I am going to make a tint again with blue and white. And I'm going to put that tint right around the pupil. See that nice tint color? Okay, and I'm mixing it in with the tone And I'm going around my pupil. Nice bright blue, beautiful bright blue. I'm mixing it in with, see the short strokes, vertical strokes going out around the eye. Okay, I'm really blending my tint in with my tone. But you see how I'm not going around and around like this. That's not the direction my brush is making. The direction my brush is making is short strokes moving outwards. Okay. From the pupil, short strokes. Okay. All right, so now we've got an eye, we've got an iris. Oh boy, now we're gonna do the pupil. Pupil is pure black. But I'm gonna save that square there because that's the highlight inside the pupil, so I'm not gonna paint that. I'm gonna leave that for white. Okay. Oh boy. Okay, now I'm going to take pure white, got my brush super clean, get all the black off, and I'm going to put that white paint right there in the highlight. Be careful that it doesn't mix with your black too much. There it is. All right, doing good. Now we have our eyelashes. And our eyelashes, I think I don't want to do them pure black because I think it will be too much of a contrast against my background. So I'm actually going to make a shade for the eyelashes. I'm going to mix blue with black just so they're not so stark against this really pretty blue tint. Okay, so I'm going to come from right here, make some eyelashes. And notice how the eyelashes are curving this way on this side, and then as I get towards the corner of the eye here, they curve in the other direction. Okay, like that. And then we also have some eyelashes on the bottom of our eyes. Like this. Okay, this one's kind of straight right there underneath the eye. And then they sort of curve the other way here. Yay! Now, what I'm missing is there's a little line on the bottom of my eye. You see it? That like white line there on the bottom. So I'm going to do that. Okay, I'm going to put that in. I'm going to use my shade to do it. I'm going to go like this. Whoop. Okay. It's coming along the bottom there, okay? So I'm just sort of outlining the eye like this. And then I'm doing one more line next to it. Okay, and I'm going to do the same thing on the top. Like that. I'm just going to go around, kind of create some shadow in the eye. Using a shade right now. There we go. There it is. All right. That's a monochromatic eye painting. And if you want to, you could take it a step further. And there's some shading in the white, even, in the whites of your eye. Like right here on the edge and right here in the corner. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use a tone for that. Okay. I'm going to mix a tone. Okay. And I'm going to put, there's a little bit of shading here. Okay, just a little bit in the corners of your eye. Right over there. So I'm using my tone. Okay, just a little bit of shading here. Okay, and then there's also a little bit in the corner here. There's this kind of curve. You can see it in the corners of your eyes. There's a little curve there. Put a little shading in. Okay. I'm using my tone right now. And now obviously it's not very well blended. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to take straight white and I'm just going to blend in the white with that tone color that I made. Just white and some water. just to kind of soften up where the tone is meeting the pure white. There, now it's a little softer, not so stark. Okay, blend it in here a bit. There we go. Okay, now you have a monochromatic painting of the eye. So I hope you have fun painting today, grade 3. Remember to post your work on Seesaw.